good to be here. Someone corrected me last night at our town hall. They said, no, that's not how you say that here. Here in Charleston, we say, aloha, y'all. I learned something new. I gotta tell you, you know I come from Hawaii. We just flew here from New Hampshire yesterday, where the weather is starting to turn a little bit colder. You gotta wear a jacket and a sweater. As soon as we got out of the Charleston airport, I threw my jacket off and was very grateful for the sunshine. I know it's been hot, but I want you to know how much I appreciate it, how much I appreciate being here. To top it all off, we had one of our supporters send me a text message through Instagram yesterday saying, if you want to come surfing, let me know. We got up at 5 o'clock this morning and drove to Folly Beach and went surfing. Even better, we were able to join with a group of warriors, veterans, who were gathered there, people who served in all branches of the military, who are helping each other through that struggle that sometimes exists when veterans come home to make that transition from serving in combat and getting back to civilian life. So today's been a very special day for me on so many levels. You know, during these terribly divided times where we see people in positions of power pitting one group of us against another, whether it be based on what political party we belong to, the color of our skin, where we come from, how we worship, who we love, all of these different things unfortunately being used to put us in one tribe or another and driving divisions between us. This goes against everything that we stand for as Americans, and it goes against this spirit of aloha. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because aloha is much more than a word that's often used as hello or goodbye. There's a reason why we greet each other with aloha. Because what it really means is, I come to you with respect. I come to you with an open heart, with care and with love, in recognition that we are all brothers and sisters, that we are all connected, we are all God's children. And aloha is what inspires us to be able to heal the wounds that come from this divisiveness, to build these bridges that allow us to come together and recognize that while we may be different or have different ideas, that when we stand united, there is no obstacle that we cannot overcome. I want to share a quote with you from Dr. Martin Luther King, who went and visited Hawaii back in 1959. And when he was there, he shared a few words with our state legislature, sharing about the impact of aloha that he experienced during that visit. He said, "We look to you for inspiration and as a noble example where you have already accomplished in the area of racial harmony and racial justice what we are struggling to accomplish in other sections of the country. And you can never know what it means to those of us caught for the moment in the tragic and often dark midnight of man's inhumanity to man, to come to a place where we see the glowing daybreak of freedom and dignity and racial justice." When he left Hawaii and then he returned back to the mainland, as we call it, he said of his visit there, "As I looked at all of these various faces and various colors mingled together like the waters of the sea, I could see only one face, the face of the future." We are that future. His call to action is to us. Every single one of us, remembering and recognizing that we are all brothers and sisters, that we are all God's children, that we stand united as Americans, committed to this proposition of equality and justice for all. Recognizing that we are far from perfect, recognizing that we have a lot of work to do before us to achieve that more perfect union, to achieve true equality and justice for all. But we can only accomplish that when we stand united as Americans. When we come together with that love and respect in that spirit of aloha, we can begin to make the kinds of big change that we need to see. And what can be more patriotic as we stand together as fellow Americans than getting rid of the current government that is ruled by the rich and the powerful? It is a government truly of, by, and for the rich and powerful. The laws that are passed, the policies that are made that impact every one of us in our everyday lives, whether we're talking about healthcare, education, criminal justice reform, immigration reform, the lack of resources going to serve our infrastructure needs. Every single point down the way, we can see how our current government of, by, and for the rich and powerful is leaving the rest of us behind. We, the people, are the ones who end up struggling and suffering the consequences of this. The only way we make this change is by making sure that our voices are heard. Because our voices together, when we stand united, are the most powerful thing. The most powerful thing that can ensure that we are truly carrying out the vision that our founders had for our country. That vision that ensures our government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. You deserve a president who will put people before profits. You deserve a president who will put people before politics, who will make every decision based on what will serve the best interest and the well-being of the American people and our country, and never equivocating, never being detracted from that focus. As your president, I am seeking to bring these values of service above self to the White House, to restore the principles of integrity and honor and respect back to the White House, to make sure that our White House is once again a beacon of light and hope and opportunity for every single person in this country. As your president, I'll crack down on the crony capitalism of big insurance and big pharma, who are raking in profits while everyday Americans are struggling and suffering, trying to decide, am I going to pay the rent this month, or am I going to buy the insulin that I need for my child? The crony capitalism that has got us to this point. We've got to bring about the change that ensures every single American gets the quality health care they need when they need it, no matter how little they have in their pocket. That we as Americans, we will not stand idly by while our brothers and sisters, our neighbors, our children, our friends, our loved ones fall sick, unable to get the care they need. As president, I'll make sure that education is a priority, that we actually listen to our teachers who are providing that mentorship and that education to our kids who are our future. Listening to them about what kind of tools they need to make sure our kids have the best opportunity to be successful. And pay them what they deserve. As president, I will finally end the federal prohibition on marijuana. I will end this failed war on drugs that has torn families apart and that has caused so many across generations to fall victim to this failed war. I will end the cash bail system, end this crony capitalism system of private prisons, address the opioid epidemic, and make sure that those who are dealing with substance abuse and addiction are not being caught in the revolving door of our prison system, but instead are directed towards getting the help and the treatment and the care that they need. This is about aloha. It's about taking care of one another. It's about taking care of these special places that we get to call home. As president, I will tackle climate change by transitioning our country off of fossil fuels, ending the nearly $30 billion that every one of us as taxpayers are currently paying to subsidize big fossil fuel, and instead invest resources in sustainable, clean, renewable energy. invest the kind of resources that we need to make sure that every American has clean water to drink, that we have clean air to breathe, that we have a safe place not only to raise our kids, but for them to live and raise their kids, where they can continue to thrive for generations to come. Investing what we need to now in climate resiliency to make sure our communities are safe today, but working with leaders of other countries to tackle this global challenge as a global community, leading with a foreign policy based on cooperation rather than conflict that enables these kinds of partnerships to exist. And last but not least, I will fight for our working men and women, the men and women who work hard every day at every level of government across this country, providing the kinds of services sometimes we take for granted, fighting for their right to organize, understanding that these battles that are fought to make sure, yes, we are earning a living wage, to make sure that we have a safe place to work, that we have the benefits to take care of ourselves and our family. These are things that not only benefit union members, these are things that benefit every single working American in this country. I'd like to take a moment, if you'll indulge me, and ask our veterans or military family members who are here to either just raise your hands or please stand and allow us to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
It is a travesty that as our country has been at war for so long, too many of our veterans are still being left behind, not getting the care that they deserve, not getting the benefits that they have earned. As a soldier and as a veteran, I take the warrior ethos that are ingrained in every single one of us to heart. And one of those warrior ethos is, I will never leave a fallen comrade. As President and Commander-in-Chief, no veteran gets left behind. We as a country stand for our veterans, honoring that service and that sacrifice now and forever. Recognizing that our veterans, our servicemen and women are the ones who pay the price for war, very directly. I served in Iraq in 2005 in a field medical unit where every single day we were confronted with that terribly high human cost of war. We saw it firsthand. But here's the thing that you might not realize or even think about is that every single one of us, whether you've worn the uniform or not, is paying the price for war. How? Since 9/11 in 2001, we as taxpayers have seen over $6 trillion taken out of our pockets to pay for wasteful, counterproductive regime change wars in other countries that have cost us tremendously in American lives, that have caused tremendous pain and hardship and suffering in the people in the countries where we wage these wars, and that have actually undermined our national security, detracting away from the reason why we enlist in the first place, to serve and protect and defend the American people and our country. And here's the thing, is that every single dollar that went to pay for these counterproductive regime change wars, that's going to pay for this new Cold War we are in, an arms race with escalating tensions between the United States and other nuclear armed countries like Russia and China, every dollar that goes towards these wars and these weapons is a dollar that's coming out of our schools, coming out of our healthcare system, coming out of the needs that every one of our communities has right here at home. Our foreign policy is an issue that is central to every other issue that we face, to our ability to be able to ensure health care for all, to our ability to provide our kids with a great education, to our ability to invest in addressing the climate change problem before us. In every single way, the cost of war has a direct impact on every one of our lives. I've served as a soldier now for over 16 years. I've deployed twice to the Middle East, and in Congress I have served now for nearly 7 years on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services Committee, and the Homeland Security Committees. I understand in a deeply personal way the importance of our national security, and that the most important job that the President has is to serve us as Commander-in-Chief. As your President and Commander-in-Chief, I will end these wasteful regime change wars, make sure we don't start any new ones, work to end this new Cold War and arms race, and instead redirect our taxpayer dollars towards serving the needs of our people right here at home. Nation building in our communities right here at home. Now, in order to do this, we need your help. In order to overcome the great obstacles that lie before us, it requires every one of us standing up and making sure that our voices are heard, to bend this arc of history away from war and towards peace, where we can truly work together towards building that brighter future with peace, opportunity, justice, and equality for all. I hope you'll consider standing with me in this. I hope to earn your support. Thank you all for everything that you do here in South Carolina. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Aloha. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Aloha. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
I'm trying to give me back my phone.
That's important. I would have walked away with it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.